I feel like my 20s have been really lonely, and I feel like God has kept me isolated from everyone, and he has removed people from my life. He's ended relationships that I wanted. Like he has pretty much cleaned house. In terms of like close bonds with people, I don't have that currently. And there are times where I will go like days at a time without talking to anybody. And it dawned on me, I'm like, it has been a long time since my phone has rung. I'm talking to God in this moment. I'm like, it is evident, it is clear as day that you want me to be alone right now. I don't know why. I don't know why you continue to remove people when it's like I finally get those friendships or I finally get that relationship, but then it's like you take it away, and then it's just like I'm back to square one. I'm back to feeling alone, feeling like I don't have anyone to talk to, don't have anyone to hang out with, no one to call. Maybe God's like, look, I need you to focus in on me because you've been losing focus on your relationship with me because you've been chasing after all these people. Hey everyone, it's Bree. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back on another video, and I am here to talk about something that has been weighing heavily on my mind. But before I get into that, as you guys can see, I am wearing a hoodie from my store. So if you guys are interested in getting this or any of my other designs, make sure you guys check out the store shelf on my channel, as well as my bio where I have everything linked. So feel free to check out my clothing line. But anyway, so this is something that I have been kind of battling with for a while now. And funny enough, this is actually my second time filming this video, because the first time I filmed this video, I ended up basically having a mental breakdown on camera. I'm just so frustrated. Like, it's like I want to be successful so bad. Like, y'all have no idea. Like, I just want some type of success and something to show for it. Like, I almost feel ashamed and embarrassed for where I am right now in my life. The fact that I barely have friends like that, it's embarrassing. The fact that the person that I wanted didn't want me, that's embarrassing. Like, I feel embarrassed. Like, I don't feel accomplished. I don't feel like, it's like, what do I have to show for myself? And I really want things to get better. I do. I really want things to get better, but like sooner rather than later. I don't want to wait years and years and years when, again, people around me are already getting some of these things. Lately, it's been me keeping myself going and telling myself these things and giving me these affirmations. It's been me keeping myself going, and I sometimes I just get exhausted. This video was supposed to be like a 20-minute thing of me talking about, me living my life solo and being cool with that. And now I'm here. Like I said, YouTube is a form of therapy for me, but I probably need to book an appointment with my actual therapist, because what the heck. Which I wasn't even expecting. Like, I honestly went into it like with like a clear mind, level-headed, and then by the end of it I was crying hysterically. And so I'm gonna film this video again. Hopefully I don't get emotional in this one. I don't think I will, because I feel like I got everything I needed to get out. So then I can come back and try to film this video again with a clear mind. So basically, as you guys can see in the title, I've been feeling very alone and isolated a lot within these past couple of months, especially. But I've been feeling this way for like a really, really long time, because like even when I had more people around me, I even felt alone in those situations. And so I kind of wanted to just touch on something that's been on my mind. And, I don't speak on religion much on this channel or even among friends, just because I know it's kind of a taboo thing now. Like, a lot of people don't identify with a religion, they're very much so against it. And I'm not here to battle anybody on their religious beliefs or lack thereof. And so I don't push it on people. I don't force people into those conversations because I know that it can make people uncomfortable. And so it's just something that I usually deal with internally. But I did want to kind of share my thoughts on camera in case anyone else could relate to this and give any insight to this. But basically, I'm in a really weird place in my life right now where I feel like I'm entering a new phase of my life. And I've been very nervous and afraid of what that new phase is going to look like. I want to hope that it's, going to be more positive and things are going to start happening for me. Like, that's what I want to believe. But seeing how things have turned out up until this point, I just get really worried that it's going to continue like this for a while. And I feel like in this new season that I am in, with me being in my early 20s, approaching my mid 20s, which is like, oh my God. I feel like my 20s have been really lonely, more lonely than I was anticipating. And it just wasn't something that I was expecting. Like, I really thought around this time, like, I would be living my best life and I would be way more social. I would have way more friends. I would go out way more. I would go on trips because I didn't have that experience growing up, which a lot of people can't relate to. Or I'll say a lot of people that I know personally and people that I've befriended, they don't have like my upbringing is very different from how almost everyone around me had their upbringing. It's very, very different. A lot of my friends, a lot of the people that I've met, they had more of an outgoing, more social experience when they were younger. Like, they had the friend groups, they had the sleepovers, they went on trips with their family. Like, they've really, lived and done a lot. And with me, I'm a late bloomer when it comes to a lot of that. I just haven't had a lot of those experiences to where now as an adult, like, I get excited to do like simple things like go to the movies or walk around the mall. When you think about that stuff, you think like, oh, I did that in high school, like, going to the movies with friends on the weekends or walking around the mall. Like, you do that stuff when you're in high school. But I didn't really have that experience. I did that maybe in terms of walking around the mall with friends. I might have did that like once or twice, and then the movies were just like non-existent for me. And so I didn't get a whole lot of that. So I find myself craving the little things now as an adult, but it's been really hard to do those things with me kind of being stuck at home and not really being around people. And it just made me kind of look at again just where I'm at in life. And I'm not really someone that's big on coincidences. Like, I feel like things happen for a reason, and I feel like God has kept me at home and he has kept me isolated from everyone, and he has removed people from my life. He's ended relationships that I wanted. Like, he has pretty much cleaned house to where I don't really have a lot of people in my I don't want to say I don't have a lot of people in my corner. In terms of like close bonds with people, I don't have that currently. Like, where I'm at right now, like, I don't have a best friend. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have people that like I talk to every single day. We share everything, about each other to each other, talking constantly, hanging out constantly. I don't have those type of friendships in my life currently. Everyone that I have in my life right now, it's very surface level. It's very like we talk every now and then. We send a text here and there. And if we do text, I'll get like maybe 3 texts from them every like couple of hours, and the conversation, dies off. Like, I have very like surface level connections with people. And so it's not to say that I don't have anybody to talk to, or if I really wanted to go somewhere, I couldn't try to find someone to do something with. But in terms of like just those really like close bonds, like people that you talk to. Like even now, like if I wanted to randomly call somebody because I was bored, I couldn't tell you who I could call. And I'm not saying I feel like, okay, I'm not saying that, like if I really needed something that I couldn't call somebody. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I feel like it's harder to explain because it's more so like just, again, the bond and the connection and the feeling that you have with someone that you're really close to. I just don't have that. And so I'm currently in a place right now where I'm just feeling just very alone. Like when I'm going through things, I pretty much deal with them on my own. I don't talk to people or vent to people like I usually do. Mostly because a lot of the things that have been on my mind have been things that I've talked about before. And so the last thing I want to do is like annoy people with the same problems. And so I've been kind of like internally dealing with problems on my own. I've been, kind of motivating myself to do things. I've just been very much alone in my own thoughts. And there are times where I will go like days at a time without talking to anybody. And I literally was just saying this. I don't know if I actually posted it or not, but like I saw a tweet on Twitter that was talking about, how dry their phone is. And it dawned on me, I'm like, it has been a long time since my phone has rung. Like since I've gotten a phone call from somebody. Like actually I'm gonna look at my phone right now. I'm gonna look at my phone right now and see when was the last time I talked to somebody on the phone. Okay, so the last time I talked to somebody on the phone was actually early this month in regards to some issues that I had with my job. But before that, the last phone call I had before that was on April 19th. Just to give you an idea of how often it is that I even talk on the phone with people. Like, and so I've kind of just gotten to this point where I feel like a lot of this is intentional from the universe, where it's just like, okay, I'm isolating you from people and I'm keeping you to yourself. And it's starting to get really frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, because people say all the time like, oh, there's nothing wrong with being alone. You have to learn how to be alone, enjoy your own company, and all of that stuff. But a lot of the times, for that, it's because like for a lot of people, like maybe they didn't have a lot of experiences being alone or being to themselves. Whether it's they come from a really big family and they're always around people, or you've been in back-to-back relationships since you were in high school and so you never really had time to be to yourself. But that is not me. That has not been my experience. I have struggled with feeling alone since I was literally in kindergarten. Like I have always felt alone, ostracized, left out. Literally every single friend group I've ever had has excluded me to some degree. Like I'll never forget in middle school, I had a friend group that we all had like gym class together, right? And so we would usually all like come together, like sit in a circle and talk before class started. And I remember like one day they had just started like excluding me from like their little circle, and so I would always be like outside the circle trying to listen in because they like wouldn't let me in. And it's just little stuff like that. Like it always came to a point where people would just, I don't know, people just wouldn't accept me. They would get annoyed with me and they would start to purposely isolate themselves away from me. Like there were times where I would be sitting at lunch with a group of my friends and they would all start to kind of ignore me as if I'm not there. In high school, I experienced, like we started out all sitting together and then people started to like not show up at all and not tell me, and I'm texting and I'm like, hey, where's everyone at? And then it led to me sitting at lunch by myself because no one wanted to sit with me anymore and no one would tell me where they were at, so I just ended up eating lunch alone. Like I've always had those situations. Like even in college I had a friend group in college that started to isolate me, which is crazy because we all kind of started out as strangers, and we had became close over time, but then they pretty much clicked up amongst themselves. And I'll never forget, like, when they were all, like, in a room, like, laughing and joking. And I walked in, like, hey, what's everyone talking about? And they all got silent and just walked away. And that has been the dynamic in almost every single friend group I've been in. I've always been the odd one out. I've always been the friend that got left out of things. I'm the friend that if people are walking side by side, I'm behind everybody. Like, that's just always been me. So it's like, not only have I had a hard time making friendships and keeping friendships, but even within the friendships, I have felt alone, and just not accepted. And then, I felt that way in relationships where I felt like I was not being accepted for me. I felt alone. I felt abandoned in my own relationship. I felt like I was a nuisance. I felt like that person saw me as a chore, and I felt like they didn't want to be near me. They didn't want to touch me. They just didn't want anything to do with me. And so it's been a really hard thing to battle with since childhood, of feeling like people don't want to be around you, people don't mess with you like that. And now having to come back home and realizing, oh shoot, I don't have any friends from back home either. And that's why I was dreading coming back home so much, because I'm like, I don't have anyone. I don't have anyone. I don't have it. Like, if I wanted to go see a movie this weekend with somebody, I don't have anybody I could do that with, unless I want to spend $200 to, travel up to Nova to try to get someone to see a movie with me. And even that is like, a lot of times I can't even get people to do that, because a lot of the times the movies that I want to see, people, don't want to see them, or they've already gone and seen it with someone else, which 90% of the time that's usually what it is. And that's why I don't get a chance to go to the movies a whole lot, because people that I would go to the movies with, they have already made plans and gone and seen it with somebody else. And so I say all that to say, I feel like with me being at home, I feel like that was for a reason, because I was fighting against it so hard. I was doing everything in my power. I literally looked my mom in the face at, spring break right before I graduated. I'm like, I'm not gonna be here. Not even spring break, Christmas break actually, because I wasn't planning on coming back for spring break either. But then some things happened, and yeah, I went home. But literally, I told my mom, I'm like, I'm not gonna be staying here anymore. Like, you could throw away all my groceries. Like, I'm not coming back. And then here I am, a whole year later after graduating. And so it's just like, I feel like I keep being put in the situation where I don't like really have people that I'm close to. And it used to be something that would really, really affect me. Like, it used to be the cause of my depression. One of the causes of my depression was me feeling like I didn't have, those bonds and those friendships that I desperately wanted as a kid. It used to really like upset me that I didn't have that. And I think I just got to the point where I've just accepted it, and I've become okay with it, and I've just come to terms with my current reality. And again, it's unfortunate that I don't really have people to talk to and hang out with like that, but it's also like I've tried to fight it for so long. I keep trying to make friends and trying to, make things work with people, and I've just become exhausted. So I'm just like, you know what? People, and I know people come and go. I know people are only in your life for a season, but it just feels like that has been like everyone. Like, I feel like all of my friendships have been seasonal, and those seasons have lasted like 2 seconds. And when I say 2 seconds, I mean like a year or 2 years. Like, almost every single friendship that I have made, not even almost, every single friendship I have made has only lasted about 1 to 2 years before either they end up cutting me off, or they ghost me, or whatever the case may be. Like, people just don't stick around. And I think I've just become exhausted. Kind of the same way with dating too. It's just like I've become exhausted trying to keep people in my life, that I've just kind of given up. And I'm like, you know what? People are either going to accept me and embrace me and want to be around me and want to talk to me, or not. And I can't force it either way. And, I've talked a lot about how I've felt alone in friendships, but again, even in relationships, like I'm really starting to wonder if relationships just aren't for me, if I'm just meant to be alone in that regard as well. Me feeling unwanted, for as long as I have, and then to continuously, be rejected and just made to feel like I'm not enough, even, as a girlfriend. It's really frustrating. And so I've kind of just I've thrown my hands up at this point. And I'm like, you know what? And when I say you win, I'm talking to God in this moment. I'm like, it is evident, it is clear as day that you want me to be alone right now. I don't know why. I don't know why you continue to remove people when it's like I finally get those friendships, or I finally get that relationship, but then it's like you take it away, and then it's just like I'm back to square one. I'm back to feeling alone, feeling like I don't have anyone to talk to, don't have anyone to hang out with, no one to call. And it's like I keep trying to not have that be my reality, but then God puts me right back in that reality where it's just like, okay, I'm back at square one, where I just don't feel like I have people like that. I don't know. It's just it's weird. It's weird where I'm at right now, where it's just like part of me is just like, well, I just have to accept it, because I can't force it as much as I've tried to force it in the past, as much as I've tried to like almost prove myself to people to get them to be closer to me. I just can't force it. And I'm just at a point where I'm like, you know what? Because even too, right? Like I know that like once I move out, presumably things will get better. Like if I were to move out and be around the people that I'm cool with, that'll lead to me being more social and getting out more. But even with that roadblock, it's like, okay, well, I have to get a job that'll pay enough for me to leave, or YouTube has to do well enough for me to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many like obstacles in my way to fulfilling that, I guess, that social aspect. And it's crazy too, because I just seen an article. I've seen quite a few articles actually about how a lot of people are struggling with feeling isolated, feeling like they don't have a sense of community. And I'm definitely feeling that. I'm definitely feeling like I'm just in this world on my own by myself, to where I can't even think or put effort into trying to find more friends, trying to get into another relationship. Like I'm like, you know what? I don't know if it's just other people just not wanting to accept me, or the universe is just keeping me from making those bonds with people. I don't know. But yeah, I really wasn't expecting this time in my life to be this alone and isolated. Like I just wasn't expecting. Like I'm like, this is supposed to be the time where I'm supposed to be going out every single weekend. It's supposed to be the time where I'm supposed to be, loved up on by somebody. Like there just were, I feel like those are things that I deserve. And that's the other thing too. Is like I feel like I've given so much of my love and compassion to other people that I'm finding myself wanting that from others. Like I want more. And I think that's what it boils down to. Sometimes I get afraid to say even that I want more, cuz then, that kind of opens the door for people to ridicule you and to say like, "Oh, what do you mean you need more? Like you're asking for too much," and all of that. And it's just like, and I'm not trying to do that, but it's just like I just want people to not only show up in the way that I show up, but also be as loyal as I am. I'm very loyal to people. It's actually really hard for me to cut people off. It's not really so much like that anymore. But before it was like, again, I just would do everything under the sun to keep friendships going, to keep relationships going, and to keep people in my life. And I don't feel like I get the same energy in return. I don't feel like people pour into me the way that I pour into them. And I think there's a part of me that really wants that. Like I want people to prioritize me and to pour into me and put energy and effort into friendships, relationships, whatever it is. Like I just want some type of like effort and I just want more from people and I'm not getting it. It's just like, again, I can't force it. And so I kind of just accept it. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe they just don't see me that way. Maybe I'm just not that important to them. But it just sucks feeling like that with everybody. And it sucks feeling like you're just so disposable to people when you prioritize people to a high degree to where, and I'm not saying it's right, but there's been times where I've put my happiness to the side and I've, yeah, I don't know. I'm just in a weird place because it's like, dang, I'm really alone. Like or that's just how I feel. I feel alone. I feel like right now I'm my biggest supporter. I'm my biggest cheerleader. I'm the one that's pushing myself to keep going, and I'm doing the inner work to, heal and to, better myself and to reach my goals and all of that. But I really am lacking that sense of community. Like, because I even said before too, like, even having, like, a group chat that's, like, super active that people are constantly talking in, or being able to talk about a TV show that I just saw with somebody, or like, I'm just missing a lot of that. And I think part of me has been trying to keep myself busy and even overwork myself to where I don't think about it. Like, I don't have time to think about the fact that, like, I haven't talked to anybody in 5 days. Like, I've been trying to keep myself so busy to where it doesn't even matter if I'm having those connections with people or not. But there is still a big part of me that kind of misses that. That kind of misses just being able to have people to just do that with. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think that I'm just in a space where, again, it just feels intentional. From a higher power perspective, I feel like God is kind of removing people, keeping me from people, keeping me at home. He's not really allowing for the friendships that I did have to grow. But it's like, why? And normally you know, when you view it as, okay, God is taking people away, normally he would replenish. Normally he would replace those people that he took away with someone new. But that's not happening. It's just people are leaving, or friendships are dying out. All the people that maybe I was once close to, I'm not close to anymore. Like, I just have a lot of things being taken from me, but I'm not getting I'm not getting anything back in return. I'm not replacing something bad for something good. I'm not, because even if you were to make the argument like, oh, maybe those people weren't good for you. Okay, well then send me some people that are good for me. But I feel like those people aren't being sent to me. So I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for those people to come. But then another part of me is like, well, I have to kind of put myself out there and meet people so those people could come. And I don't know. It's just, and same thing with dating. I'm like, I know I have to put myself out there and put energy into it if I want to find somebody else, but I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm tired of having to constantly prove to people why I deserve to be in their life and why I am a priority and why people should, hang out with me and talk to me and all of that. Like, I get exhausted with trying to prove my worth to people. It's like, it literally doesn't matter how much I do, how many favors I do, how many times I sit up on the phone at 3 a.m, listen to people vent. I still won't get invited to the birthday dinners. I'm still not getting invited to certain things. I'm still being left out the loop. People are sitting up talking about things that no one told me about. I'm still being left out and not prioritized and not supported. And it's just like, I give up. I give up. I'm exhausted at this point. If people want to come and leave, cool. If people don't want to accept me for me, cool. And it is what it is. And so I'm hoping that this season of isolation is just a season. I'm hoping that it's not going to be my reality forever, because that is one of my lingering fears, is that I'm gonna be alone forever and that I'm not ever really gonna have those close bonds that'll last a long period of time, not just a year or two, like people that actually stick and people that I can remain close to for like years and years. Like that is ultimately what I want deep down. But there's a part of me that is worried that that's just not gonna be for me and that I'm not gonna have that. And so, yeah, that's just kind of how I've been feeling in regards to that. I've just been, still trying to keep my head up, still trying to push through it, of course, and try not to let it get to me too much. But yeah, if I'm honest, like this time period in my life right now, it's gotten really, really lonely. It's gotten really, really lonely. Like I literally want to go see the Super Mario movie, but I don't want to go by myself. And yes, I know there's nothing wrong with going by yourself and all that, and don't miss out on things because you're waiting on others. Yes, I've heard it all. But just the fact that, like, even something as simple as going to see a movie with somebody has been so difficult for me, it really, really sucks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, we'll see. I know, things happen, and maybe one day I will have those things and it'll come a little bit easier. I won't have to fight so hard or do too much to try and have that. But I feel like I once again rambled a lot, so I am going to close out this video. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get on camera and express how I feel like God is keeping me isolated. Oh, another thing too, sorry. So because I came across a TikTok as well that was talking about this, and she was talking about how sometimes the reason why God isolates you is because he wants more time with you, and because you spent so much time focusing on other things outside of him, that he wants to kind of just keep you to himself so he can have more time to get to know you and grow that bond. And it definitely made me look at this season in my life a little bit differently, because I'm like, oh, like I never even thought about it like that. And so maybe that's why too, because I've spent so much of my life chasing after friendships and relationships, that maybe God's like, you know what, I'm gonna just put a pause on all of that so you can focus on me. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe God's like, look, I need you to focus in on me because you've been losing focus on your relationship with me because you've been chasing after all these people. So maybe that's what it is, right? And again, in me being in this season of being alone, I've had no choice but to rely on God at this point. Like I have had no choice but to lean on him and talk to him more and build that relationship, because who else do I have? Like, I don't really have anybody else but him. So it's forced me to grow that connection and that bond with him, which I would look at as a benefit, I guess, to this. But I don't want it to be like this forever, if I'm honest. And so, like I said, hopefully I get to a point where I can have more of those close, tight knit relationships and friendships with people. But right now, it's been a very lonely season, and I'm just gonna hope that it's for good reason and that at least it's something great, because it's been really hard. It's been really hard for sure. But yeah, let me know if you guys could relate to anything that I am saying. Like I said, not trying to push religion on anybody, but if you are somebody that identifies with religion, with Christianity, and you related to anything that I said, and you have any stories to share, you can relate to anything that I said, let me know in the comments down below. I really would love to hear about it and have that conversation in the comments. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video or agree with anything that I said, make sure you guys give the video a big thumbs up. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to check out my clothing line. It is always going to be linked in the store shelf on all my videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.